and rum. One day the tonguing is done, take our leave and go. At a fair in the sunlit town, her hair was blonde and her dress was brown. She made a wellerman come around.
This is Cumberland Rover. My name is Nick, and I am departing Big Pelican Island. I'm over here on the Crooked Creek side of the island, and you can probably still see the tree line of the island behind me. On the opposite side of Big Pelican is the main Cumberland River channel. I'm headed to my next stop in the 16-foot Pelican punt. My next stop is the Sad Islands. These two little wooded islands just at the mouth of a bay. Sad Islands are about a half a mile away from Big Pelican, where I just came from. So looking forward to getting out here and seeing what there is. I haven't been here since my camping trip last fall. And on that camping trip, I woke up to realize that I was not alone on the island. There were a couple of voyageurs, or however you say that French word, referring to early explorers in America by canoe. A couple of guys dressed in period clothing, buckskins, with their canoes painted to look like birch bark. They were taking their own big trip along the Cumberland. So that was an unexpected surprise. Just hit Sad Island South. That's my own name for this island. I named it that because a long time ago, the first time I came out here, I found an old sad iron in the mud, which is just an old-fashioned iron used to press clothing. And they were called sad irons. They're just a big chunk of iron, literally just iron, that you would heat up over a fire or on a wood-burning stove. So there you have the name, Sad Islands. You can see the woods behind me are very thick, and I'm not sure if I'm going to venture in there today or not. It's pretty hairy. A lot of bugs, definitely a lot of chiggers, probably ticks. I'm not afraid of them. I get them all the time. In fact, it would be a miracle if I didn't test positive for Lyme disease, to be honest with you. Maybe I built up a tolerance, hopefully. Not to make light of that subject, I know a lot of people can really suffer from Lyme disease, especially outdoors people. It's kind of a serious thing, actually. And you got to be careful to do what you can to keep the ticks off of you. You know, just thoroughly check when you get home from the woods. And it's that bullseye bite mark that you don't want to see. So if you see a tick bite that looks like a bullseye expanding out in a circle, that may be time to get checked for Lyme and see about some kind of a treatment, because it can be treated by natural means, actually, in a lot of cases. But what a tangent. Let's get on and check out the Sad Island here. Sad Island South. It's actually two islands, but when the water is way down in winter, it kind of becomes one, and you can almost walk to the main lake shore. I think you could wade for sure. I always enjoy coming out here to this part of the river over on the east side of the ridge, east side of LBL. And there's just so much to see and explore. It never gets boring. It's a pretty big place. Water's still pretty high. It has dropped rapidly over on Kentucky Lake on the west side of LBL, but Cumberland's still pretty high, and they are connected by a canal, but they can kind of have independent water levels to an extent. In the fall when the water is low, there's a lot more flat bank and room to walk around the outside of the island, but you can see it's pretty high right now. I'm not going to be able to walk far at all. Well, I'm kind of out of dry shore. I was hoping to walk around the perimeter of the island, but I guess I'll get back in the Pelican punt and paddle around to check out the shallow flats in between the two islands. There's obviously a lot of ways to do boat stuff, and of course the main one that comes to mind for most people is going fishing. And around here, that is the primary activity, and in fact so much so that people just assume if you're out in a boat that you're fishing. So all the time I'm out here doing my exploring and adventuring, doing my version of boat stuff, and when you run into anyone else in a boat, they always want to know, you doing any good? Catch anything? I usually just say that I caught a couple of sharks and a marlin. This is the right way to do boat stuff. My version of boat stuff. You need something preferably without an engine, but you can do this type of thing with motorized boats as well, of course. But I have the most fun when I look at a map or GPS and come up with a destination and go there and beach the boat, get out and explore. Be it an island, sandbar, creek bed, a point, it could be anything, any natural feature. And today I paddled 1.5 miles so far. I'll probably end up paddling 2 miles overall by the time I get back to the truck, but you don't even have to go that far. You can obviously go a lot farther if you want to, but you can have an adventure just floating out a few hundred feet to get to a creek or something around a campground. There are many ways to scale adventure for sure. I'm back in the Pelican punt, just looping on around to check out the other side of the island. There's some shallow flats that I think will be flooded, slightly flooded, just right in between Sad Island North and Sad Island South. And hey, while I'm thinking of it, how about the CIA? Even the CIA has to have some way to fund its black operations, and I'm not really ready to stoop to the level of the CIA. Dealing arms, selling drugs, you know, all the kind of seedy stuff they get into. I'm just gonna sell boat plans. So if you want to support my operation, check out my growing library of boat plans. Right now, the main ones are the 12-foot solo P-row and the 16-foot Pelican punt that I'm paddling right now. The P-row is the simpler, easier, faster, cheaper build, and it's a pretty good boat. There's a lot you can do with it. You can do this type of exploring right here. The plans are only $10 for the solo P-row. The Pelican punt is 16 foot and the plans are $16, and it's a lot more boat. It is gonna take a little bit longer to build. I don't really think it's more difficult, it's a little more complex. There's just more components because of the decks. But it is a lot more boat, it's more stable. There's a lot more you can do with it. It can handle a little rougher water, even though both designs should really only be used on protected waters, small rivers, creeks, and lakes. So take a look at those plans, linked in the description. I appreciate everyone who supports my work by buying a copy of the plans. So these are the flats right here with Sad Island North on the right side of the frame. And if I pan over Sad Island South, and there's just a few inches of water in between. And probably in a month or so, it'll be dry and you can walk between the two. And this is actually the exact spot where I camped in the River Island series from last fall. Camped on the flats right here. It was nice. Judging only by my videos, you would think I ate nothing but Spam, dark chocolate, and now cracker bologna. And I always forget the utensil, be it fork or spoon, and so I just end up eating it with me knife. Just slice the end off right there. I actually wanted Braunschweiger, which is a type of German liver sausage that's kind of spreadable like this, but they were out, so they had to substitute cracker bologna. Let's see if it's any good. Not really the best texture. It's okay, I can live with it. It's food. I actually cook most of my meals every morning. Bacon and eggs, scrambled eggs, and actually like crunch up the bacon and put it in the eggs for kind of a scrambled omelet. It's good. Cook a lot of burgers, usually just in the skillet with cheese and bacon. Not with buns though. Sometimes Sydney will have a bun, but I try not to eat really any bread at all, which is kind of unfortunate because I love pizza so much, but I've dealt with some stomach issues in the fairly recent past, and what seemed to fix it was cutting out bread, crackers, any type of cereal grain really, and really minimizing sugar. I'll occasionally have some ice cream, but definitely a lot healthier than I've been in years for changing my diet and making sure to exercise, which I don't really work out just to work out. I paddle, I skimboard, I hike with a heavy pack. Sometimes I do lift or do some push-ups or something like that for upper body, and actually I could probably stand to do a little more of that, but generally I just stay active and do stuff that's fun to me, getting outdoors and doing stuff. Hey, you can't have it. You can't, no, you can't have it. Get out of there. Trying to cross the land bridge now. It's about ankle deep right here. Getting a little deeper, but not much. On the River Islands camp, my tent was just somewhere right over here. I'll see if I can roughly locate the spot. I think it was roughly right about here where this little bushy willow is. Right around there, underwater at the moment. So this is Sad Island North. It's a little bit smaller. They're both just almost circular, just little blobs. Unlike the Pelican Islands out there, which are long and narrow. It is thick, very thick in there. Check these little babies out. They are persimmons, not yet ripe. They're kind of like a little citrus fruit almost. It's kind of funny when persimmon trees grow really tall. You don't know they're there until in the fall you see just persimmons littered all over the ground. You're like, where did this come from? And you look up and it's like, oh, that's a giant persimmon tree. You can see from all this driftwood in there that's washed up, the water gets way over these islands. They are totally inundated when the water peaks, probably during spring flooding. Yeah, that is Chigger City in there for sure. I'm gonna be staying out of the brush today, as curious as I am to go in the woods and see what's in there. It's been a while actually since I've actually been up on the island. Well, that about does it for Cumberland Rover today. I've enjoyed hanging out on the sad islands here with you and showing you around as best as I can, even with the water being up so high. Thank you very much to everyone who supports the channel by browsing my library of boat plans. Links to the plans for the Pelican Punt and the Solo Piro are in the description of this video. Oh, and one more question. I'll get all Columbo on you. Don't forget to check out my summer side project, the Skid Files. I've taken up skimboarding and I post my footage and adventures skimboarding. I think it's quality entertainment. I have a blast making those videos. It's got a lot of action. I leave the falls in because people are entertained by any sort of falling on a skateboard or skimboard or surfboard or anything. So check out the Skid Files playlist here on the channel if you want some quality entertainment. Thank you very much for watching.
Soon may the weatherman come, bring us coffee, tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, take our leave and